right. Welcome back to the Gym Business Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined today by Zach Columbia. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Did you get the memo with the black shirt?
The black shirt. I almost wore my blue jeans. We almost matched. We were almost match.
Twinning. All right, guys, we got a great episode for you guys today. At the end of the day, when we start talking to gym owners, it always boils down to marketing. Somewhere in this conversation is what's working for marketing, what's not working for marketing. And since it almost seems like the beginning of time, it was always like King Facebook was where everybody was running ads. It still is in some sense, but we want to give you really just real data of what we, after 2025 wrapped up, we kind of went back and looked at all of our marketing spend, and we wanted to talk to you about what the reality is, because it's not the same as it used to be, right? It seems like over the past at least 1 year, if not maybe 2 years, we've seen this downward trend of results going really far down on Facebook, and let's call it Meta, Instagram, and Facebook. And there's plenty of episodes where I was saying there's a conspiracy theory about these are bot leads, because you would get a lead.
Yep.
You would call that lead within minutes, and they had no recollection of ever opting in on anything. In fact, some of them would say, I wasn't even on the internet today.
Or they didn't speak English, or, it's not a real number,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so then we started to question, you're getting quote unquote leads on paper, but are these really human beings? And a lot of me says no, absolutely not. And I don't know if it's Facebook's own company doing this to show hey, advertisers are getting results. It's your fault because you can't convert them, but our platform's doing its job. Or if it's hackers or whatever got bots going out and filling out forms online. I don't know what it is, right? But the bottom line is the performance of real human beings opting in for the form or whatever the offer is gone completely downhill, down to a point where does it even make sense anymore? And that was the question that I had after kind of going back and reviewing the numbers. And we'll just throw some round numbers at you guys. Our cost per acquisition on Facebook Medium alone last year was north of $800 per acquisition. Now, if you know what that means, you're probably like, holy, what are you doing? Why would you keep spending money, right? And I'll get to that in a second. But the ROAS, return on ad spend, was sub 4, probably high 3s, 0.3, I should say, meaning for every dollar we spent, we got maybe 40 cents back. And that's absolutely pathetic, right? And we would spend anywhere from a low end $2,000 to maybe $5,000 or $6,000 a month trying to get leads, trying to get something to pop, trying different offers, trying different ways to do it, not just Facebook lead forms, but maybe to a landing page, maybe to a messenger ad, maybe just a bunch of different things. And nothing hit. Sure, we would get, I think we looked at a little north of 3, maybe between 3 and 4 acquisitions per month coming from Facebook as the lead source, but it's nothing like it used to be, right? And so a lot of people gym owners are scrambling. They don't want to have the cash to just burn and try it. They turn it off and they lose any lead flow whatsoever. And on top of that, you turn off one of your mediums, some of me has to say, some attribution has to give credit to Facebook for seeing your ad on Facebook, then maybe going to your website, maybe Googling you, maybe coming into the gym because they saw it on Facebook. Maybe they didn't opt in, and you can't attribute the acquisition to that, but there's something there, because if you shut off Facebook ads, if anybody else has shut it off in the past, everything else seems to slow down too. So that would just hypothetically, hey, you know what? It's doing something. It may not be a direct one-to-one correlation, but there's some type of relevance in the market that says, hey, they see me online, scrolling, whatever, and then maybe it kind of triggers something and they call or they come in, right? And I think we could all agree that's probably true. I don't know. There's no proof, but unless you had something, there is tools out there that follow people around through their IP address, and there's some high level tracking tools, but we don't have that. And so then you start thinking why would you continue to pay? And it comes down to lifetime value. because here's the honest truth. When you know your numbers, and we'll go over these in a second, then things kind of make sense in the long run. In the short run, where I'm trying to get all my money back in the first acquisition or the point of sale, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So when you're at a 0.33, for example, 0.33 ROAS, that just means it takes you 3 full months to get your acquisition costs back. But we know our clients stay much longer than that. And you did something pretty cool recently where you kind of pulled up all of our data and you took all of the revenue as a lifetime value of what somebody's paid us that came from Facebook. Mm-hmm. So not just the first point of sale, but if they've been here for 6 months paying $500, that's $3,000 attributed to Facebook against the total ad spend. And it looks a lot better when you start looking at it that way, because here's the thing. What you do have to understand is if you took a snapshot in time of 2025 and you said, hey, we spent, let's just say $3,000 a month. We spent $36,000 on Facebook and we acquired some handful of clients. Some are going to stay, some are going to leave. But once you stop paying in 2025, because the calendar flips to January, you've locked in your total ad spend. The return on ad spend is only going to go up each and every month into the future because people are spending more money with you, and it makes your return on ad spend as a lifetime look a lot healthier. Like we're at like 3 or 4 or even 5 ROAS at this point because those clients are still here. They're paying for, our services. And yes, we got to take some profit out of it. But if you're just looking at a raw data that says we spent $36,000 in 2025, just based on numbers, and we've collected, $150,000 from clientele that came from Facebook, then it tells you like, hey, we need to continue to run ads.
Yep. That's the thing is the landscape is changing. And I think that you see this. So for how long? Over maybe a decade, you have been preaching that it's the systems, it's the things inside the business that it's not just attraction, it's the things inside the business that allow you to keep clients long term. And that was never sexy. The systems were never a sexy thing to talk about. And even to this day, everybody's like still, hey, how do we market? How do we get clients? And it's very interesting because for anybody paying attention, now you are seeing this shift among agencies in that have fitness businesses as their clientele, and they're all moving to the systems. They're all moving to like trying to coach, even though they're not gym owners, they're trying to coach gym owners on, the conversion process and the delivery and, how to get your clients to pay more when they come in and all these things that we've been teaching for years and years, but they're seeing the exact same trends. And so they're going, hey, no matter what creative we put out there, no matter what offer we put out there, we're not getting those same results that we were getting previously. And so the only way that we're going to be able to retain our clients is by now, coaching them and building all these other systems. And it's the same exact thing it's funny, same exact thing we've been teaching for
from the agency standpoint, they're losing clientele because the clientele cannot correlate value with what they're spending for the agency and for the ad spend. They're saying, I'm spending all this money, I'm only getting a handful of clients where, 5, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I was getting triple that. And so then they cancel with the agency because they just can't afford it. Unless you have a long cash reserve or runway or an established business that's spinning off cash flow, you're looking at every dollar. And that dollar is not returning money back. It's like, I'm turning this off. And so the agencies are scrambling. How do we keep our clients longer? Well, we've got to teach them how to sell because obviously whatever the agency is doing, it can't get the results. It has to be coming from the inside. And yes, that's what we've been saying, I don't know, since day one. I mean, one, it's common sense, but two, it's because we're in the day-to-day operations of a gym every single day. And guys, I don't know what to tell you. There's a million ways to skin a cat, but the last person I'm going to listen to is an agency that does not have, the only reason they're trying to teach me something is to keep me paying them longer, right? They're going to teach you how to get some front end, high ticket NLP technique to get more money down up front. And maybe it hurts you in the long run because you're burning your EFT or whatever it is, so you can pay them longer. Let's think about that. That's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. Right? They're going to help you get more money, but that hurts you in the long run. So they don't care about your business. They just want to make sure you got the money to pay them next month and the next month and the next month.
And this is probably the reason, or at least it's a major contributing factor of why we are in this mess to begin with.
Sure.
Is because these agencies at one point, they could throw a gimmicky offer out there and you would see all these clients rush in and the gym would get some quick cash and then it'd be gone. And so they would go back to the agency and the agency would be, oh, we got this new, trial offer. We changed the lipstick on a pig. And so we run that again. And it created this vicious cycle. Well, if you zoom out from that and you look at what that has done to the skepticism of the consumer, now, when they see the offer on Facebook, even the quality clients that you want to attract, they're like, I've been there, done that. I've seen this before. That's a gimmick. And so really, we have nobody to blame but the agencies themselves and ourselves for, being like, hey, I'm going to take
quick cash grabs. I was listening to a podcast. It was a gym owner talking about the last 5 years. And it was, and basically it boiled down to, if I can go back 5 years ago, I would have told my previous self not to compromise my ethics and morals just for the money. And that was, if you go back and you listen to the Growth Summit Scottsdale 2022, we were on stage and it says, you got to be very careful about the hooks you put into market because it burns trust when everybody knows what we're talking about. You run that type of offer and it's a bait and switch, or if it's a weight loss, quick fix type of situation, you burn your bridges. And like you said, it just affects the skepticism of the market. They don't react the same. They need to see 17 different versions of something to make it make sense. And one of those versions is going to hit with them. But the gyms that have stayed true to their systems and operations and the product that they deliver in that room over there, those are the ones that are going to stick around forever. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a great product, you're going to get somebody, sure, you'll sell them 1 or 2 months or 3 months or even a year, but they're going to fall off and leave because your product's no good. So that's where we always kind of start. That's why we start with delivery systems when we're coaching clients, because I don't care how great your marketing is. You can't keep somebody long-term, then what's the point, right? It's like that old leaky bucket. You pour all this money and water into the bucket, it just pours right back out.
Yeah, and if somebody's skeptical and they come in and they look at the agreement, hey, okay, I'm only on the hook for 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Well, psychologically, they already have an end date, an end point in their mind. They're not coming in like, okay, I'm going to change my life. This is going to be a new lifestyle. I'm going to be doing this for long term, for the foreseeable future. It's okay, like I can do this for 6 weeks and then I have an out.
I'll see, or I don't need them anymore, or I'll get the result I'm looking for, or just let me get to the end date and then we'll figure it out later.
How you bring people into your business sets expectations for how they are going to do business with you
in the long term. Yeah.
And there's psychology to that. And if they come in and it's like, hey, I'm, only on the hook for 6 weeks and that's it, then in their mind, there's an end point and you're going to see a lot of churn around that time frame.
It's interesting. I think we've, like, all of the mistakes that gym owners are making, we've made every single one of them too.
Yeah.
But we learned really quickly what works and doesn't work. So we just move on to the next thing. Yeah, we've tried a ton of things, guys. In fact, there was a point in time we were running challenges a lot, and it blew up our front end. But again, they were the wrong type of people. And as soon as we realized that, we just stopped doing it. Like we just switched gears. And that was, I don't know, when was the last time we ran a challenge in this gym?
2017, maybe.
2017?
Yeah.
It's about 8 years. What was that, 9 years ago? Yeah, it's been so long that we've cycled out of any client that ever came in ever on any type of one of those offers. There might be one or two left, I hope, right? But at the end of the day, you have to learn from your mistakes and change quickly, or else you're going to be in this boat forever. One of the things, and I know we started off talking about, is Facebook dead? Is it, what are the numbers? This is the reason it's dead, is because we've burnt this, we've burnt the market, and, agencies, nothing seems to just work like it. You could throw up any ad 5-10 years ago and somebody's going to react. And there was a point in time, there was a novelty of somebody actually paying for something online that was almost cool. It's like funnels and everything else, like an order form. And so that was the birth of the Profit Agency, was in 2015, when we were running and we were actually converting people online. They were putting their credit cards in and they were paying for the service without ever walking in the door. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So there were shifts in adjustments that we made along the way. But here's the kicker. Like when so if your cost per acquisition is less than, your cost per acquisition is higher than you're going to collect. So you're under a 1 ROAS. Everybody understands what a ROAS is, return on ad spend. And again, return on ad spend is an arbitrary number because you have to look at a moment in time. Is it at the point of sale? Is it in the first 30 days? Is it the lifetime of the customer? So the ROAS, return on ad spend, you have to look at it over a period of time. We just say 30 days makes the most sense for gyms because you're either billing weekly or monthly. You're collecting something in the first 30 days. And I would hope every gym that's in operation has 30 days of ad spend to float that, if you got it back by the 31st day, you're back in good shape again. Cool. So we use that 30-day kind of like window. If you're under a 1, if you're over a 1, you need to press the gas as fast as possible because, you got to make hay when the sun shines, right? Whatever that terminology is. You got a moment in time, you better press the gas. And that's what's funny is a lot of newer gyms or gyms that have just never run an ad before, they always seem to get rewarded. Like that's that dopamine that Facebook is known for. Just keep you on the platform. They're doing the same thing with advertisers. They give you some wins really quick. So if you're a new business and you turn on Facebook ads for the very first time, be ready to capitalize and be ready to spend, and don't be afraid to spend 4 times as much, because guess what? That door is going to close sooner rather than later, and you need to make the best out of that opportunity. That's if it's above 1. If it's below 1, you need to take a hard look inward. How long are our clients staying? Like if I pay $800 to acquire a client and they only give me $500 in the first month, I'm negative $300. Is this client not staying for the second month? Well, then you're losing business. You're out of business, right? If you can't keep the client for the second month and paying you another $500, I know, guys, I'm using higher numbers. Just bear with me here. Again, it's even worse if you're charging $200, right? Like you gotta go 4 months before you break even. But take a look at your numbers. Are those clients staying with you for 10 months, 8 months, 3 years? And how much are they paying per month over the lifetime? If you know those numbers, you feel okay. Like I said at the very beginning of the show, we're at a 3 ROAS for all of the 2025 spend on Facebook now. Like I am totally fine with what we spent, even though our cost per acquisition was way out of line. I mean, I say it's way out of line compared to what it used to be. We used to be very profitable on the front end. We could get a client for $100 and sell them into $400 or $500 membership. We'd be profitable, and we would just keep spending more. And there was especially coming out of like the COVID era. By the way, somebody said COVID was 7 years ago, not 3 years ago. Is that true? It was 2020, 2019,
COVID-19. But it went on for so long. I think it depends on where you lived, like how long you were shut
Holy
down for. Yeah.
It started 7 years ago. Oh
Crazy,
my gosh.
right?
Unbelievable. Like it's just this blip in time, but it feels like it's just lagged. It's just this lagging. Anyways, when we came out of COVID, I knew there was so much like worry in the marketplace that if we got out in front and started marketing and be the first in the market, especially on Google, we would get all the clients back. And if you look at our numbers between 21 and 22, you see this huge jump. I was spending as high as $12,000 and $15,000 a month profitably on Google ads. As soon as I could open again, I was just pressing the gas because we had one chance. But if you don't know those numbers, then you're going to turn your ads off. The agency's going to try to give you some high ticket thing just to pay them the next month. It's just this cycle that is been created by the agencies.
It has. It really has. And the one thing that we haven't brought up yet is like Facebook is not the only pool in the water for us. If it were, how do you float that? It becomes a real challenge. And so this is an argument for having multiple pools in the water, doing referral programs, Google ads, different
direct mail,
different things that then globally brings that cost per acquisition down. So we can, it's a really good practice for us to track the numbers and go, okay, well, what does it look like for the customers that came just from Facebook? What does it look like from the customers that came just from Google? But again, in the scenario that you brought up is like, well, how do we 100% know they didn't see a Facebook ad, go to our website, Google us, click on a Google. Like there's this whole ecosystem. And so we look at it globally and we're like, wow, numbers look pretty good, and then we break it out and we go, okay, this isn't as good in a 30-day ROAS, like we're low, but then let's look at the whole year. Let's look at a quarter snapshot and see and go, okay, over time, we paid to acquire that customer once. Yes, it cost us a lot of money, but we paid that once, and every single month that they continue to pay us, the profit just grows and grows and grows.
The caveat is they stay longer. They stay with us, right? If you're a gym that turns your clients out in 2 months, 3 months,
you're dead.
You're dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
So that's the shift that you need to look at as your product. What is the service that you're offering that only keeps your clients 2 or 3 or 4 months? I could tell you, and this is even now probably 3 years ago, unless they've improved at the corporate, national corporate event for Orange Theory, they globally said the retention in months is 3 months on average for clients. 3 months. Think about that. You get a client, you paid for the client, and they're only going to pay you for 3 months and they disappear. Why is that? Why was that, right? And so you become a marketing machine versus a retention and delivery system that you can keep your clients in-house. I don't know how they're even in business other than the fact that they're constantly signing people up every single day.
Yep.
Because they're losing people every day.
Yeah. And so this is interesting that you bring this up because I talked to a gym owner end of last week, and they know semi-private is the best profitable model. They had a large group. They introduced semi-private. They've been doing it for about a year, and the gym owner is struggling. And so I talked to him, and I'm like, well, what's going on, man? And we kind of walked through a few things, and I said, I've got a question for you. What's the offer that you're leading with? And he was like, well, it's a 6-week, it's not a challenge, it's a 6-week like introductory program. And he's like, all my clients are churning at 6 to 8 weeks. And so this is also something that's really important is you guys can have the right model and still be unsuccessful with it because you have to have all the components to it.
Well, the marketing psychology is bringing in the people that want to churn in 6 weeks.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I'm like, and so here's a guy that, great guy, but he's out there struggling and not a coaching client of ours. And we've had multiple conversations over the last couple of years. He's been on our webinars. He's been to the Grossum. He's been to events, never pulled the trigger on coaching. And it's like, dude, if you had just implemented a self-locking trial, a year ago, brought your clients in with no finish line,
yes,
you wouldn't be in this situation right now.
I don't know what it is. I know gym owners like to lurk in the background and kind of absorb information and use it how they believe is the right way. But there's those folks that in the situation like you're in, or that guy was in, just struggling because he didn't implement a portion of what we teach. Just putting semi-private training in a different price point on your price sheet, it's not gonna cut it. Like, you're gonna still lose those clients in 6 weeks, right? What you say on marketing matters. How you deliver the product matters. What you say in that conversion, meeting matters. The emails after they sign up matter. Even the consultations and in-bodies or lack thereof matter, right? Because there's a whole nother story there. We'll talk about. Let's do another episode on check-ins. That'll be a great episode because we're changing our tune on some of this stuff because it's having negative impact. And so, like, what are we really trying to do here? We're trying to keep our clients as long as possible, but having them as happy as possible. And it's two different things, right? They could be here miserable and he'd be here for a long time. They could be here happy and be here a long time. And there's two different ways to pull, to I guess, talk to a client through that process. So we'll do an episode on that next. But bottom line is this, guys. Facebook market is changed. We know this. There's no, like, if you've been in business for this last year, we got our ass kicked on acquisition last year, on Facebook at least. So much so that many people have just like thrown the towel in. It doesn't work for me. However, when we look at our data, because everything that we do in this gym is based on data, and we double check and triple check it, it says, you know what? Yeah, we got our ass kicked on the front end, but we know our clients are staying 36 months, 38 months, and they're paying us, $15,000, $16,000, $17,000. I could pay $800 to acquire a client. That's okay. But you got to have that data and you got to have that confidence that you're going to keep those clients for the long term.
Yep. And I think I want to believe that this is a good thing. So if you just look at markets, if you follow markets, there's bubbles and the bubble bursts and there's a market correction. And I think for the last 8 years or so with this, with the challenge, I guess 10 years with challenges and stuff, it's a bubble. It's a bubble that burst and the market is being corrected. And the gyms that refine the systems, that build the infrastructure to bring, it's the gym operating system is what we call it. Mm-hmm. You can take one component. You can take, I'm going to do semi-private training and it not work for you because you don't have the whole operating system. If you implement all of the different components of this, you can build a sustainable business. And it really is, we're at the point now where it's like evolve or die. That's where we're at. And so you look at, the dot-com bubble. How many companies were just like exploding and getting all, their stock shares were, and they had nothing in the background to support it. But because they had, .com in their name or whatever, their investors are coming in and giving them capital. And then boom, the bubble bursts and those companies don't exist anymore.
Nope.
So that's where we're at.
We don't want that for you, gym owners. So you got to evolve or die. Knowing your numbers is part of that. Knowing your model and how to keep clients for the long term is the other half of that. So listen, guys, if you need help with anything, we've got a Springboard coaching program. Link will be in the show notes. Go check out our new YouTube channel as well. Hopefully it's out by the time this episode comes out. We got some cool stuff to share with you guys. We're super pumped for this room. Lots of cool things happening in 2026. Let's go win this year, guys. If you need help, you know how to find us. That's it for this episode, guys. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Built to Grow podcast. If you want more help growing your business, join our free Facebook group, Profit Accelerator, helping training gyms grow to $30,000 a month and beyond. We'd love to see you there. Go check out the show notes for the link and keep building something great. And we'll see you in the next episode.